Let's Talk. Exactly what it is we are going to talk about whatever's occurring in the world and anything that I feel I want to share with you. So this week's show, there's two things. One is the financial world. We've been informed that we are in a recession. So let me tell you my thoughts about the recession. And then the second thing I want to talk to you about is UMRAH. Having just done it last week, I want to talk you through whether it's worthwhile doing it yourself or whether it's worthwhile using an agent. So let's kick off with the whole recession. There were some huge noises this week that we are in recession. So many people were scared and worried about, what's happening. Last year was depressive, and now they've kicked this year off with telling us that we're in a recession. But actually what they were doing was telling you what they had to tell you, and simply that we had a retracted economy for 2 months consecutively. And when that happens, they have to tell you that it's a recession. It's classified as a recession. However, moving forward, the everything that I've looked at, everything that I've read, really just says that we dipped in it and we're dipping straight back out of it because things are going really well, and they don't expect it to last for the period that the last one lasted for. And I think that's what's scaring everybody, is we've been told now. And actually, I did a post on it, and it was huge. The amount of comments and discussions that people were having. Some people were genuinely really, really concerned and worried about what had occurred previously in the recession, and whether we were heading towards that, and whether house prices were going to fall, whether interest rates were going to go back up again. All of those concerns genuinely flowing out from the general public. But my personal opinion is I don't think it's going to hold for very long at all. It's just something that you had to be informed of, and it's going to pass as quickly as it came. So that's my opinion on the recession. Moving into houses, interest rates, that's still very stable. I don't see any changes. Interest rates have already been brought down for the first quarter. Bank of England base rate hasn't yet. I kind of get a feeling that we might see that move around April. I don't know why. I think it's maybe because it's the end of the financial year that I'm getting an itch around that time, but let's wait and see what he does. Everything else looming in the background is a possible factor that could impact it. And you know what I'm talking about with the war and the conversations that are being had that we don't seem to be moving further forward on. And you want to know what my thoughts are with that? I think they're waiting until after Ramadan, which gives us April again. So we are so sitting ducks right now. We sit and waiting whether or not it's a good time to move, whether or not we should make any preparations or plans. Right now, just prep up for Ramadan, people. I think that's the only thing you can do. Don't worry about what they're doing, how they're doing it, why they're doing it, if they're going to do it, because you could be sitting here wondering forever because it's politics. So I just say, do what's in your bubble right now, and our bubble is Ramadan. So let's live a nice period and prep for that, which is imminent, round the corner. When you're prepping for Ramadan, I'm not talking about shopping and getting stocked up on all the essentials for when you break your fast. I'm talking about prepping your mind, prepping your body. And when you do fast, I've always made a conscious effort every single year is when I break my fast to do it really light. I start my fast with light, easy food, easy to digest. And then when I break my fast, I'll do that with the same smoothies, juices, fruits, dates, of course, but that's it. Go easy, go light, treat your body well this Ramadan. Anyway, let's not go into Ramadan because that's another conversation we can have. What I want to talk to you about is UMRAH. And that's something you could even think about do during Ramadan. And some people have had huge aspirations to visit Makkah and Medina during the month of Ramadan because the vibe is so huge. The energy at that period is mind-blowing. I mean, when I came back last week, it was as busy. I was told it was as busy as Ramadan, and I really couldn't understand why it was so busy. But somebody pointed out that because it was a month of Rajab, that it was super busy in preparation for, who knows? But I was fortunate enough to be able to visit because I was traveling to Malaysia, and I did an en route stopover at Saudi Arabia, and I thought, okay, well, I'm doing that. Why don't I do Umrah as well? Because you can't stop in Saudi Arabia, touch that ground, and not do your Umrah. Anyhow, FYI, there's a mobile number below. You can text, you can call, and you can ask any questions that you want. It may be related to tonight's topic. It might not be related to tonight's topic, but if you want to call and have a chat and ask me a question about anything where you'd like me to give you a detailed response, feel free to ring that number now. We're going to take a break. Halfway through the show, just give me time to prep up and give you an answer to what you're asking. So if you have anything to ask, the number is below on the screen. So coming back, let's go to what I did. First thing I did was I had planned a trip to Malaysia and en route stopover in Saudi Arabia. So in order for you to step out of the airport, you're going to need a visa, and you can do that so easily. All you do is go to Google Saudi Arabia tourist visa, and it's for a year, and it's about £103. Really simple, really easy process. Little bit of technical, so get somebody who knows how to, with these online form filling, uploading photographs and then squeezing them into a small space and making sure you know how to do that kind of thing will save you a lot of frustration. So if you get somebody to help you out, that's what I would say it's a good idea. But it's quick and it's easy and it's not difficult. So you've stepped in. You've got your visa, and they're generous. They're very generous. You can do I think there's two types of visas. You can do your Umrah visa or you can do your tourist visa. I'll give you some information that previously there was speculation that, little technical difficulty there. So where was I? Previously there was a little speculation with the tourist visa as to whether, we're off again, I'll just keep talking, whether there was restrictions on you bringing Zamzam water back if you were on a tourist visa. I have to say that there's mixed responses. Some people were okay with their tourist visa and some people weren't. Now, I can tell you myself, in November 22, I went on a tourist visa. We bought Zamzam and we were told that we couldn't bring it back. Whereas other people, when I put it out on TikTok, said that they were on a tourist visa and they could bring it back. So now either they couldn't make their mind up at the airport, as in the counter help desk operators, or there is a rule and somebody was being generous. Who knows? But so many people did feedback to say that they did on a tourist visa. I'm going to do a shout out again this time round to see whether or not all of that's been rectified. Maybe it was just an unclear message down to the people on the ground from the people above, and now it's all sorted. So your tourist visa, so now that you've managed to get your entry, that's the hardest part, because now you're free pretty much to do what you want to do. So you could get yourself an Uber, download the Uber app, and the Uber can take you straight to the Haram. And the nice thing about having Uber is that you don't have to do the haggling and the headaches that used to come with speaking to taxi drivers and wondering whether or not you're going to be had over. And that's not just in Saudi, that's in pretty much every country you go to. So yes, you get yourself an Uber to your hotel. So if you use booking.com, you can go online and you can choose a hotel. So this is the bit that people find more daunting because they're worried, where is the hotel going to be? But if you've ever done an online booking with booking.com, you will find yourself that they'll give you direct distances. You are, the one thing is about doing it yourself, you're responsible for it. So I think what you'll find is you'll complain less. It's when somebody else does it that we tend to find little pick points about this isn't very good and that isn't very good. So when you do it yourself, you're guaranteed not to complain, because you've done it yourself and you're not going to complain to yourself, are you? So we're going to be going into a break shortly, but let me finish off on this hotel business. The further away you go from the haram, of course, the cheaper it's going to be. The closer you are in the haram, i.e. the clock tower that everybody loves to stay in, and that Zamzam hotel, you know, you're talking mega bucks per night for those kind of hotels. However, they are in the haram, and you are but a lift journey away from going straight in. And the bonus of staying in those ones is that you can pop backwards and forwards for using the bathroom facilities instead of using the public ones outside. And if you need to get back for some personal items, you know that you can do it there too. So that is the most expensive, but this time round, my own experience was different. I decided that I was going to go for something cheaper and further away, because my experience, I've only ever really stayed in the haram. So what is the point in having these fancy hotels? So I took something that was really, really cheap. Was it a One Land Premium Hotel, which was quite basic, you know. It was just a room to crash in, put my luggage and have a hot shower. But I have to say, it was clean. It was clean, it was nice, and it was around about £50 per night. Now, bearing in mind that one room could sleep, I would say, you know what they're like? They're quite generous with, if you want to add beds to a room, you could put 3 beds in that room very comfortably, along with, you know, all of your luggage. We're going to take a break in 30 seconds for a short period. Only on TV, though, I have to say. I'll be still here with you on TikTok. So I will talk through a little bit more about my room if you're watching on TikTok. But if you're watching on Sky, then I'm going to pause for a moment and I will carry the details forward with on the room and the hotel and the stay.
Looking for amazing holiday deals, hotels, cruises or flights, business travel, car hire or airport transfer? Call iFlights and Travels. We have the best and affordable prices. iFlights and Travels are also offering halal holidays. We also offer book now, pay later schemes. Terms and conditions apply. Simply call us on 0330 133 0866 or email contact@iflightsandtravels.com. Book with confidence. Book with iFlights and Travels.
To fly Oman Air is to be where yesterday melds seamlessly with tomorrow. Where aviation meets dedication. And every class has a class of its own. Where our Dreamliners have become your reality. Come experience a state of the art.
And I'll talk. Assalamu alaikum, it's Saira Hayati here, your host for Let's Talk, and we were talking previously about the recession. So if you want to learn more about that, you can rewind us on TikTok or on BritishMuslimTV.com.tv, I think it's called. And also there's a telephone number down below if you've got any questions to ask, and you can find them on Facebook. So we talked about the recession and what my opinion was about how that's going to be going moving forward. And then we moved into the main topic of tonight, which is doing Umrah yourself, which is the reason why I'm doing that with you is because I actually went to Umrah and I did do it myself this time, and I did it myself the last time. And obviously the more you do things, the more confident you get. But the biggest question I had was, is it worth doing it yourself, or is it worth using an agent? And you know how we love to cut out that middleman and save ourselves some pennies. What are we actually saving, and how much is the question? Because, you know, giving that responsibility to somebody else to do isn't that bad, you know, bigger deal. So let me come back to the fact that the first hotel, so it was in Makkah, and One Land Premium was the hotel. It was basic, it was clean, and it was about, I would say, between 5 and 10 minutes on a bus or an Uber to the Haram. However, I think that in life, you know, your experiences, especially when it comes to Hajj or Umrah, is not about you getting to the Haram and praying your salah or doing zikr or, you know, 24/7. That's not what it's about. Umrah and Hajj are all about what you gain from your emotions, feelings, and lessons from your performance. We pray at home, you know, every day. I hope you pray every day, because you should be if you're not. And then we do zikr. We can do that. We can do zikr. We can do that anywhere. However, let me give you an insight into my experience. Because I didn't book that 5-star lush hotel with the comfortable sleep and the bed and the pillows, you know, and the facilities and the fragrance and everything that comes with these luxury hotels, as a minimum expectation for some of us Brits, I have to say, you know. So we stayed in this One Land Premium hotel, and woke for Fajr, let's say, okay. You come downstairs and they've got buses standing outside those hotels waiting for you. You will never step outside of your hotel and there not be a bus laid on for free. So this is the first part of the journey that's quite enjoyable, because you're like, you're spoiled brats. In reality, we're spoiled brats. You're expecting a taxi. You're going to get a bus now, right? So you're going to get on this bus with all these normal average people from around the world. And that bus journey is going to take you to the Haram bus station. And when you get off at the bus station, all of you people from your bus and many other buses that congregate there are going to walk now to the Haram, a journey which I would say takes around about 10 minutes again. And that's the bit that gets you, because that is a little bit of hardship for us luxury livers, the hotel. Then you're going to walk, because when you're in, you know, these fancy hotels around the Haram, what walking are you really doing? What observations are you making? How much time are you reflecting before you go and pray in the Jamaat? So that to me was really interesting, and especially on that walk through, there are some beggars, not many, but there are some beggars, because no doubt they've moved them on, but you do pick up on some. There's a few little tradespeople as well. They're selling you a few goods, which is fine. Trade with them. Talk to the people that are walking with you if they speak your language. I think that is really nice, to understand who they are, where they're from, and just to become acquainted with your fellow Muslim brother or sister that is walking the same direction as you, heading to do the same thing that you're heading to do. Because I found that when you were in the clock tower, you'd come down one of the many lifts, but nobody really talked to each other. You know, I don't know whether it was the attitude of, or the ego of being where you're being. You know, there wasn't a lot of humbleness, if that's a word. So now you get to the Haram, you do your business, you say, you know, your salah, you recite, you make dua, you speak to Allah, and you're done. after that, you can go off and get something to eat. And you can stay in the haram, you can stay in the haram, or you can go off and you can do ziyarah, which you can organize yourself using the Uber facilities that are there. You can doing it yourself isn't a difficulty. There isn't. I didn't find any facility laid on actually in Makkah as there was in Medina. Medina has like an open top bus that takes you around, but I'll talk about that in a minute. I'm just keeping conscious there. We've got a little bit of time. So, right, that's the main thing is, getting into the haram. Now, let me talk to you about the Umrah, because there are some restrictions actually. They don't let you into the haram generally to do tawaf. In the past years before, you could go anytime you wanted. You could go as a female. Females, you kind of get away with things a little bit more because the men have to go in their ihrams. So let's talk about the Umrah, because you can adorn your ihram when you are on your flight. The flight will tell you that you're near the miqat. If you do it on the flight, you can do it there, great. If not, like I was loaded with luggage. So what I did was I went to the hotel first. It was me and Hira, so we freshened up and left our luggage. And then we had to take a taxi, Uber again, to Masjid Aisha and perform our niyyah at the Masjid Aisha. And then from there, head to the haram to do the start of the Umrah. Now, I have to say that I got these flashcards off of TikTok, and they are in my showcase, which I'm not plugging for a sale or anything, which some people seem to have problems with actually on TikTok, but let's not talk about that. There's always going to be somebody that's going to have a problem with something. The flashcards are absolutely amazing. They're these little cards that kind of have slightly bigger than double the size of a credit card, let's say. And it gives you what to do, when to do, how to say the du'as, the transliteration. Amazing. The best thing ever that gave me the confidence that when I was walking around, that I was doing and saying and understanding what I was doing too. On another note, I also got some salah cards and took those with me, because there's nothing wrong with, whenever you do your salah, to just have a little reminder and get that translation embedded in your head. So when you are reciting, you do feel what it is you're saying, because everything is about the feeling. So let's say, once you've done your niyat, you have adorned your ihram, and you have now performed your 7 tawaf with your recitations as you're going around, and off you go to do the Sa'i, the Safa Marwa. That's the fun bit. For some reason, I don't know why, I love doing that. Maybe because it's a little bit spacious in there, although this time it wasn't. This time, again, it was packed. We went onto the second floor because they've got 3 floors of this. The same with the tawaf. They have multiple floors for you to go and do your business, but it was packed. It was the closest I can experience that to be, because I have done, alhamdulillah, I've been fortunate enough to do a few umrahs, and I've done Hajj, and Hajj was packed. I mean, I must admit, I loved it. And people complain about the pushing and the shoving, but if you get yourself into a nice little bubble of kind enough people, you're going to get the ones that bulldoze past you because they just want to get their tawafs done. And then you'll get a little bit of pushing and shoving, but it's a crowd, people. It's a crowd. Anyway, I'm running out of time because I could talk about this forever. So you've done your Safa Marwa, you've got your flashcards. The flashcards will tell you what to say, how to say it. And you are still in Makkah. So really, where are we going to go from here? We need to catch a fast train to Medina. Yeah, now you can obviously stay back in your hotel. Your Umrah is complete. I'm rushing through this now because I could do with a lot more time when I'm talking about this, and maybe I might go into a little bit more detail later. If you guys want to ring in and ask some questions, I can answer those for you. So the same thing applies with booking.com to your hotel in Medina. I stayed in Al Rawda something. I will get more details about that, but it was right on the front again, in front of the Haram. And that was £500 for 3 nights. And I think I regretted doing that, because if you'd have gone one street back, it would have cost you half the price. And realistically, it makes no odds whether you can see it or you can't see it, because you're walking there. You're going to spend a lot of time there anyway. So you can get the hotels for an average of £50 per person per night. So flights, £500 to £600. Visas, you're talking £103. Then on top of this, your hotels are £50 per night, and you could bank on putting 3 people in those hotels. Okay, your train return journey from Makkah to Medina is £100 approximately. Varies day to day, but generally that's what you're looking at. The visas are £103 each. Now, when you get to Medina, you can go on that open top bus, and it is £18 for 24 hours, actually, to use that one ticket. You can make it long out for the whole 24 hours yourself, or you can do it within a few hours in the morning and then give somebody else your ticket and share it and do it like that if you really want to. But I went and I stopped off at each spot and then jumped back on. Really worth it. The Ziyara bus is brilliant. And then you've got the other vibes as well in Medina, which is really nice. Down as you're heading towards Masjid al-Quba, there's a street that you could go down. I've only got 60 seconds to finish this off today, but really what my verdict is the amount of money that you'll save is probably about between £200 and £400 doing it yourself. And then you have to ask yourself the question, do you want to take that risk? Now, if you give the money to an agent, the agent gets the job done. Tried and tested some agents that I've used. If you want to know some, I can tell you. But my answer is, if you do it yourself, you are wholly responsible. And if you get an agent to do it, you have got total peace of mind that you are getting what you asked for. Anyway, that's all I've got time for this week. Inshallah, I will see you again next week. I'm here, sat in Malaysia, as a lot of you know. So, Assalamu alaikum to you all. I hope you have a fantastic week.